Make it work. Yep. Okay. Hey. Might actually be live. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm hoping so.
Let me check that one.
Yeah, we should check to see if we're actually live. Oh, and we're not yet, so it's a good thing we're checking. Thanks for your patience, guys. We're getting everything set up.
You have to fill that out.
And okay. I'm just gonna share.
Alrighty.
Okay, guys. Thanks for your patience. We are getting ready to go live here so that we can talk about health. All right, we are getting set up.
Okay.
I'm gonna take my glasses off because otherwise there's just a horrible reflection you don't want, I don't want, we don't need. So, thank you for your
there you go.
patience. Awesome. Okay, I think we are live, guys. Hello. So, thanks for joining us. We are going to talk about how to get your health back because something has happened over the past 3 years of our lives in this country and, well, all over the place that has really affected our health and our economy, our political system, everything in our lives, pretty much. And there is a huge impact that it has made on all of us, really. But the biggest impact is our health, and that's the obvious one for a lot of reasons, right? Once the virus took over and started spreading, we realized the impact of our health, right? Some of us way more than others, obviously. So obviously some people didn't make it through because of the virus. A lot of other people made it through and have had horrible problems ever since. If they only had the virus once or maybe a couple times when it came around each time. Some people have long haulers. Some people don't have diagnosis of long haulers, but they still have a lot of strange symptoms where their body's not quite the same as it was before 3 years ago. We're actually seeing a lot of that. So there's also people who have their bodies just did not do well with the vaccine, and they had a lot of problems with that afterwards. So I have a lot of people that come to me on a pretty regular basis asking for help on how to recover from what has been left behind. I call it the aftermath, I guess, if you will, of what has happened 3 years ago. I actually want to start with the basics because everybody who knows me knows that I go for root cause. Okay, we get the root cause of the virus, but also let's talk about the root cause of how to get your health back and what will work. As an herbalist, I have a lot of people coming and going, oh my gosh, what's the pill, the tea to drink? How do I do this quick and easy, right? Not always quick and easy. This was a really harsh virus that hit a lot of us. But I really want to talk about going to even more basics than that. As most people know, I'm going to start with food and what you're eating. Something changed 3 years ago in our country. Before that, people were doing pretty well with learning to cook for themselves at home, some home cooked meals. Even if it wasn't even healthy, people were cooking at home then. But once 3 years ago hit, everybody stopped cooking whole foods at home. I don't want to say everybody. A lot of people stopped cooking for themselves at home. There were a lot of changes and shifts when lockdowns began happening. It was harder to get hold of certain foods. Everybody was stressed, worried, or sick, really, really sick, and didn't have the energy to cook for themselves. And so they started changing to how easy we made curbside fast food pickup, going out to eat, how easy we made it to come to us. So, food that comes to us easy, great. Is it generally the good food that supports us? Not so great, right? We know this. So then what happened as everything opened back up and we saw we're healing from everything, habits are in place now. And the habit is, well, we just go pick up food on our way home. We have carry out, we go out to eat, right? We have lost the skill of cooking whole foods for ourselves at home. And it is a skill, I will say that, because not everybody grew up with this. A lot of people I would see before 3 years ago, come to me going, how do I cook a butternut squash? How do I cook, if you eat meat, how do I cook a whole chicken? You know, how do I do these things? And so we would talk about it, and that's one thing the co-op has loved, teaching people how to cook whole foods. We love that. So 3 years ago, when people stopped doing that, health went downhill for a lot of reasons. But now it's time to recover your health. It's time to get back your energy. It's time to get back to your body functioning the way it's meant to function, right? So how do we do that? You get back to whole food eating, and that is changing your habits to going to the grocery store rather than stopping by a restaurant or fast food place on the way home, right? It's getting back to committing to start with a few nights a week. We're going to be doing at-home meals. Then shift it to most meals are at home now. Shifting it to how many meals can you eat at home now? Let's talk about what you're eating at home and what we're going to be cooking, right? We want to make sure that you're cooking foods that are supportive while you're healing and things that make it easy. We have really busy schedules because one other thing that happened during 3 years ago is the economy changed drastically. People lost their jobs. Businesses closed left and right. There are mom and pop businesses that have been around for a century, 50 years, 30 years, and they were closing doors. That is what happened. That is very real. So economy shifted. You found a lot more people not being able to afford housing as the prices went up, and people are living together with family and friends again and cohabitating just to be able to afford those bills because the price of everything went up. That includes the food, yes, but everything. And that really shifted our budget greatly. So I understand that shift, and it's important to learn how to budget back in your health. And that is your food, the whole foods. So by whole foods, I'm talking about foods in their most natural state. So as close to nature as you can get it. So rather than from a box or a jar or a can, it's actual ingredients, actual vegetables, grains, whatever you are eating in your household that is as close to nature as possible, clean eating. It also means steering clear of sugar, right? Because we know that sugar depletes our body and actually causes more inflammation and causes more disease, right? There are a few other foods that will contribute to inflammation, and I want to talk about inflammation because that is one thing that it has really turned on in a lot of people's bodies once they got the virus, was inflammation that stayed. So what causes inflammation? We know sugar does, right? Excess amounts of those horrible oils that people cook with, canola oil, peanut oil, vegetable oil, those are hard on the body and cause a lot of inflammation. What else causes inflammation that may surprise you? Dairy. Even though dairy can be whole food and organic, yes, but for a lot of people, their bodies read it as inflammation. So while you are healing up your body, reclaiming your energy, and cleaning everything up, I recommend steering clear of dairy, or at least lessening it as much as possible so that you can get some of that back. You want to hit your baseline again, right? The good, healthy baseline. The other thing that can contribute would be red meats. If you do eat meat, consider cutting way back on the red meats. That's going to be beef and even bison and some of those meats, because they are really hard on the pancreas. They raise your blood sugar. They are hard on inflammation. They're acidic. And so you want things that are going to be more supportive to your body. So if you do eat meats, I recommend working on more of the white meats or things that are more free range, like elk or venison. If you're going to eat meats, that's what I recommend. But looking at foods that you can include that are actually antiviral and detoxifying. Now we're going to talk about how to not only get your energy back, but to literally clear the virus. So something that a lot of people aren't aware of is if they've had the virus at least one time, even if it was just a short little bit, most people's bodies are not 100% the same sense that, because it's hanging on in the tissues of people's bodies, in the organ, in certain parts of the body. It's just hanging on in there, and it's not completely gone. And that's what viruses have a tendency to do more than bacterial infections. They will hang on in the body, hang on in the organs, and they need a little more help detoxifying them completely out. So how do you do that? Greens, leafy greens have so much chlorophyll. This is what you want. In fact, I even drink chlorophyll water. It's so helpful and detoxifying. It is really, really helpful to move some of the virus and what it has caused out. It also is how you get less inflammation, right? This is how we work on this. So, eating as many leafy greens as you can, eating those vegetables. If it's a vegetable, mainly green vegetables especially, you're gonna find a lot more healing from it. Fruits, absolutely, especially the fruits that are less sugary. So grapefruit, if you can handle citrus, Granny Smith apples, those are great. These are great ways that you can really help build up what your body needs and detoxifying. That is key. So how else do we detox virals out of our body, viruses? Well, we want to look at spices and herbs that will really help clear that. So garlic, great one. Onion, absolutely. It's also going to be things that you may not think of, like oregano, thyme, basil, marjoram, cinnamon, clove. These are amazing antivirals that will also detoxify the body and help get you back where you need to be. So add more of this intentionally when you're cooking. If you're making soups and stews and broths, put extra of those in there because it's really going to help. And if you can get them in a raw state, your body's going to take even more from it for those. So it's very helpful to look at some raw foods, and you can get the garlic in there raw. You can get the basil and the oregano and those things in your body raw a lot better. Even things like fennel seed, anise, these are really good antivirals and a good way to help the body repair itself. Another category I want to talk about is, of course, medicinal herbs. So there's a lot of antiviral medicinal herbs that can help your body to heal from anything that may be lingering that does not belong in there, right? If you've had the virus. So lemon balm is amazing for that. I love lemon balm for an antiviral. It is really powerful. The only problem is with people with Hashimoto's or thyroid disease, then lemon balm is not for you, but it is for most everybody else. Echinacea, elderberry, these are other herbs that most people will try. Astragalus, those three I just named, echinacea, elderberry, astragalus, those are not for people with autoimmune disorders because it can be too much of an immune stimulator. If you have an autoimmune disease, that means your body is attacking itself and you don't want to help it, right? So you don't want stimulators, and that's what echinacea, elderberry, and astragalus can do. But if you don't have an autoimmune disorder, absolutely jump in there with those. They are amazing for getting rid of viruses and cleansing things out of the body. But other things that would be safe would be dandelion. I even would look at licorice root. Some people can do it, some can't. If you have an autoimmune disease, just look at that. I absolutely love dandelion, can't say enough about it. Same with burdock root, good cleanser. Cleavers, red clover, these are really good ways to cleanse different things. So I just named herbs that will help cleanse the liver, lymphatic system, the pancreas, the kidneys. It gets different parts of the body. Lymphatic system is what really you're going to hold virus stuff and viral problems in there. So cleavers, burdock root is really good for blood cleansing. So these are very helpful herbs for you to get in your body to cleanse some of this out. The other things that I want to recommend that I can't say enough about would be mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, specifically reishi, chaga, turkey tail, cordyceps, maitake, shiitake. These are amazing healing mushrooms that have really done a lot for people who have been kind of stuck with the long haulers issues. I'm just going to say long haulers, whether it's been diagnosed or not. If you just notice you're not back to normal yet, you want to clear that out. That's a great way to do it. So most of these mushrooms, if you get them in their dried state, chunky, like slices of reishi maybe, or chunks of chaga, then you're going to decoct it. And what that means is you're going to put it in a pan with at least a good amount of water. I would say 1/4 of a cup of your dried herb to at least 1.5 cups of water. Bring it to a boil, then turn it down to simmer. You're going to keep the lid off and simmer it down to half the amount of liquid. Once you've reduced it down to half that amount of liquid, then you'll pull it off the stove, and this may be 30 minutes to an hour. Then you'll strain the herb out, and what's left behind is a really strong concentrate that you can literally take just an ounce at a time, because that's how strong it is. What I like to do at that point is I will literally pour that into my ice cube trays and freeze it, because one good solid ice cube pockets about 2 tablespoons. So that's the perfect dose, really, for you to just plop that in some water the next day and drink it. And it's very easy to use then at that point, or you can literally stick it in your soups and stews. You can add it if you're making rice at home. Instead of water, add a little bit of your reishi or your chaga decoction, and it's a great way to boost up what you're already eating and your family's already eating, right? I highly recommend that. You can also get those medicinal mushrooms in a powdered form. And when you do this, especially if it's nano and full spectrum form, you can literally stir it right into whatever you're eating or consuming. I will say mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms, love to play with the tannins in coffee and tea. That bolsters the function of the mushrooms, and you're gonna get more bang for your buck, basically. This is why everybody talks about mushroom coffee, right? It's everywhere. Well, you can put it in your tea too, just so you know. And it doesn't have to be just actual coffee. So these are good ways to help support your body and detoxify it at the same time. More ways to detoxify your body and really cleanse out the last little remnants of the virus you've got in there. I'm going to talk about detox baths. My favorite way to detox, because if your body's really sensitive or you're on a lot of medications and you're not sure about contradictions with herbs, then a good way to do is an external detox bath. And there's a lot of different detox baths that you can try. So I highly recommend doing Epsom salt. Yes, it's okay. Magnesium chloride flakes. Yes. Himalayan sea salt or Celtic sea salt. Yes. Anytime you do those salts, you're going to want, an adult body wants anywhere from 3/4 to a full pound of salt in a bath, pretty warm water, and you want to stay 45 minutes to an hour. So bring a book or something, right? You're going to be in there for a bit, but it's really helpful. And really, truly, while you're in there, my rule of thumb is bring at least a pint of water and drink at least a pint of water while you're in the bath and a pint of water when you get out of the bath. Your body will tell you, because you've just soaked in salt and you're going to be thirsty. But just a reminder to do that. Other detox baths, apple cider vinegar. I would do 3 to 4 cups of apple cider vinegar for an adult body in a bath, 45 minutes to an hour. Baking soda, I actually put it in with the apple cider vinegar and I love that. I'll do about 1/2 cup and it's really helpful. Other ways to do detox baths, you can do bentonite clay detox baths, and I would do about 3/4 of a pound in there. Make sure you're taking off all jewelry and you don't have metal on your body while you're in there, because that clashes. There's a chemical reaction that happens with bentonite clay. And then I would also look at even like mustard powder. Yeah, hydrogen peroxide. Yes, hydrogen peroxide, you want the food grade hydrogen peroxide, and you want to put about 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup for an adult body into a bath. Soak in it. Again, 45 minutes is what I usually recommend for that. But these are great ways to rotate different detoxifying baths, if you will, while you're working on detoxing different things in the body. What will happen is you'll find 1 or 2 that work really well for you. You'll find 1 or 2 that'll rock you, and you'll go, whoa, that bentonite clay was too much for me. Okay, back it off, but that means you found something in there that needed to really be supported more and detoxed out. So these are great ways to completely finish detoxing things out of the body. And really, truly, there's a lot of things that you can do. Adding chlorophyll, spirulina, chlorella, adding camu powder. Again, can't say enough about that superfood from the rainforest, because it's a great antiviral, high vitamin C, great detoxifier, and really been helpful for those who have active virus and they need to get rid of it. Amazing for that. So I'm going to kind of circle back around here a little bit to what I started off with, is what is the best way to get your health back on track is whole food eating. Now, we just talked about if you've had the virus, oftentimes it lingers and your body's not the same, and you're going to find you don't quite have the same energy. Maybe you're working 2 jobs now because economically that's what happened in your family, in your household, right? You're really tired, you don't have a lot of energy, and you don't have a lot of time. So how do you do whole food cooking that seems to take up forever? Well, you want to look at bulk cooking. So when you cook, make enough, like 3 times, triple it. 1 time for eating right then, another time for 1 or 2 nights from then, and another you're gonna freeze. Because you do that maybe on a Saturday, you could make 3 or 4 meals, and you're set for a while if you've tripled those batches. It really helps make the most of your time, makes whole food eating faster and easier for you, and that's what you want to do, is make it easier. You don't have to make complicated dishes, but when you make soups and stews and broths, always make extra and freeze some. It's gonna support you the most. So the easiest way to get back to whole food eating and to give yourself some accountability is to join a co-op. So if you're local, we have produce shares that we offer organic produce every single week. Members do not have to commit to it every week, but those who do then also get recipes and ideas of what they can do with all the vegetables and fruits that they're taking home that week. So there's also the accountability of, you have gotten your shares, you've got all this produce and you don't want it to go bad, right? So you keep yourself accountable in that way. All right, we bought the produce, it's better for us. Let's cook it and eat it. And every single time afterwards, people go, yeah, that was worth it. I'm really glad we did. Right? This is what happens. Because you know you can make really good, really nourishing food so much better than anything you can go out to eat and find anywhere else. Your body will thank you. Your pocketbook will thank you, right? This is how we realign your budget. So I highly recommend, if you're not here locally, join a co-op. Find one where you can get your organic produce, because it really is a good way to keep yourself on track for all those things. Here at the co-op, we have all those herbs I talked about, all the detox baths I talked about, all of the medicinal mushrooms, and all of those things that I talked about, we actually have here at the co-op. So we love helping people get back on track with their health, and I'm really hoping that this will help you in your health journey and reclaiming some of your energy, reclaiming your habits, and getting back to something more supportive for you and your family. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. If you liked little videos like this, and I really appreciate when you just share it with a friend or give it a like, and that way you can kind of help other people back on track as well. And are there questions?
There's one question.
Yeah.
Do you have Camu powder?
We do have Camu powder right here on the shelf. We sell it, it's all organic. We sell it in bulk. It's powdered form, super easy to use. A typical dose is 1/4 of a teaspoon. If you're not feeling well, that's 1/2 teaspoon. So 1 ounce lasts forever and ever. So yeah, we do have that here on the shelf. So I really look forward to helping you guys get back on track. Come in and see us at the co-op, or give us a call. You know, you can email us too if you ever have questions. sales@shopnaturalliving.com. Call us at 832-632-2937. Or just come see us. We're in the historic district in League City. Thanks, guys. Bye.